Be strong.
Hello guys, welcome to today's video. I am Mandhar and you are seeing Educational Logics. So as you can see in the screen, in today's video I am going to give you a brief explanation about the chapter Nutrition in Animals, which is meant for class 7 Science chapter 2. So let's begin guys. So this chapter's explanation is not only confined to NCERT. Anyone who has to learn about this chapter can refer to this video. Please go and click the subscribe button to my channel to get the latest updates whenever I post videos. So let's begin, guys. Let us begin with some of the points or questions that can thrill you before you read the chapter. So you can just go through it, guys. You can go through it. Introduction, what we are going to learn. They are just some of the points that will thrill you before the chapter. So let's begin, guys. Let's learn what exactly is nutrition. So nutrition is the, in simple words or in simple definition, we can define nutrition as the intake of food and its utilization in an animal's body. So animals need food for many purposes. Yes. So the purposes can be to restore energy, gain energy for life processes such as there are many life processes that you can think for part maintenance. So to live our life, we need food for energy to live it. The mode of intake of food. So here is the definition, the brief definition that I gave you. Animals use heterotrophic mode of nutrition as they are dependent on plants for food. So all the animals in the world are dependent on plants for food. Even the tigers or the lions, as you know, because in the previous chapter we have discussed about it. So if you have not watched my previous chapter video, please go and watch it too. And my next video chapters are also going to be updated soon, so please check them out too. So animals use heterotrophic mode of nutrition. So in this chapter we are going to mainly focus on heterotrophic mode of nutrition and how the food gets digested in these heterotrophic animals body. So let's begin, guys. So let's look at the mode of feeding, the process from which animals or other organisms intake food. I mean, intake the food from which enters the mouth and enters the body is called ingestion. 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 So mode of feeding, that is ingestion, varies. The way in which animals intakes food varies. So there are many ingestion types of ingestions are given, such as sucking, as you can see, sucking, swallowing, and chewing, sponging. So what type of ingestion do human use? They use chewing and swallowing. So you can go through the this slide, and then you'll get to know the type of ingestions for different animals or different heterotrophic animals. So let us now start the topic of digestion in humans, which is really going to be interesting, guys. So let's begin. So now we are going to learn how the food that we intake that we intake helps our body, how the nutrients gets absorbed. So let's begin, guys. The process in human body from which complex substances of the food are broken down into simpler form is called digestion. So this is a simple definition or defining line for digestion. The alimentary canal. So what you see this from the mouth, like this, till the stomach, then to the small intestine, then to the large intestine. The pathway from where the food travels, you can say it is the alimentary canal. And there are digestive glands which provide the digestive system with many juices. Collectively, the alimentary canal and the digestive glands in our body form the digestive system. So, in further slides, we are going to look at each part of digestive system and study deeply in it. So what information is provided in the what do you call NCERT book, we are going to go more deeper than that. So that's gonna be more fun, guys. So let's begin. The buccal cavity. So did you know that another name for mouth is also buccal cavity? The buccal cavity or the mouth is the opening from where we intake food. That is called ingestion, as I have discussed earlier in the types of ingestions. The part from which the food get ingested is buccal cavity. Now you have learned that. So now there are teeth, something called teeth in the buccal cavity, which help to chew the food. So the mode of ingestion in humans is chewing. So there are teeth which help in chewing the food. Teeth which is present in the mouth breaks the food into pieces. There are different teeth which perform different functions. So there are also again types in these teeth, and each type of teeth performs different its own function. There are four types of teeth. Those are incisors, canine, premolar, and molar. So here are the function of each of the teeth mentioned. So the type incisors, you can see in this diagram also, the teeth, you can also locate the incisors teeth, canine, premolar, and molar in your own buccal cavity, as given in the diagram. Incisors are teeth that help to cut the food, and canine help to again cut the food, and premolar that help to cut and grind, so to grind hard substances. Molars help to chew and grind food. So in cows and other animals, there are more molars, so that they can chew the grass, as you see. And let's go to the next slide. So the next slide is based on saliva. Saliva is something also produced by a gland, and which comes in the buccal cavity. So saliva is a very important substance which is produced by a gland behind our tongue called salivary glands. So this is the part of a digestive gland. So there are three glands, as you can see in this image. They are also named. They are different type: parotid gland, submandibular gland, lingual gland. So I have come across this for the first time while making this video. That is exactly now. And then saliva helps in digestion and even cleaning our mouth. It kills many bacteria that are present in our mouth. So it even helps in digestion. Did you know that? Yes, saliva plays an important role in digestion, as it contains enzyme called amylase. So you will learn more deeply about enzyme in the next class. Yes, it is it is also enzyme, and in its type, something called as amylase, which breaks down starch into sugar, which human body can easily utilize. As you can see, saliva plays a very important role in the digestion in human body. It also contains a pancreatic enzyme. So you will learn what are pancreatic juices in the further slides in this chapter, called lingual lipase, which breaks down fat. So here saliva breaks down even fat, and it breaks down starch into sugar. So it plays a very, very important role. Saliva also contains antimicrobial agents that help combat bad bacteria, as I told previously. So let's go to the next slide and see what's there. So let's learn about the esophagus. That is the next major part in the digestive system. It is the part of the alimentary canal. Esophagus is also spelled sometimes as OESOPHAGUS, food pipe. usually it is called the food pipe in short, is food pipe in the passage from the buccal cavity to the stomach. Yes, guys, it transports food to the stomach with pushes with its muscle. There are muscles in the interior surface which pushes the food to the stomach. So there are many other major parts along the esophagus, that are heart and other parts. So from there it pushes it to the stomach. So let's learn about the tongue that is present again in the buccal cavity. So I think this slide should have been before the slide of esophagus. So there's a problem. Sorry guys. The tongue is a muscular organ in the mouth which has various functions. So each part in the human body has got a function. But we will again discuss about another part that is slowly vanishing century by century, which doesn't has any function. So it's called appendix. We'll learn about in few the further slides. It's not included in the chapter, but we will learn about it. It helps in pronouncing while speaking. So the function of tongue is given here. It helps in pronouncing while speaking. That's true. It helps in phonetics. Yes, it helps to mix the saliva with the food. I'm sorry guys, here it should be food, guys. It is mouth. By mistakenly it's a typo error. I'm very sorry for that. It's a typography error. I should have written food here. It helps to mix the saliva with the food. I'm sorry guys. The taste buds present in bulk amounts on the tongue help to identify the food taste. So as you can see, different part of the tongue have different taste buds, where different taste can be tasted. So the taste buds are present in bulk amount to taste the food. Different parts of tongue have different tastes as discussed earlier. So let's get to the next slide. The stomach. Yes, we are gonna learn about the major part of the digestion, that is stomach. So let's begin. So you can see it's like a muscular sac over here. Stomach is a muscular sac in which our food gets digested by digestive juices. So the glands also present, such as pancreas and liver, which produce these digestive juices. The inner layer of the stomach contains a layer called mucus. So the inner layer, what you can see, this is the outer layer, but the inner layer, I hope you understand what exactly is inner layer. There is present a layer called mucus which protects the stomach from the acidic juices. So the juices are acidic to break down the food, but it should not break down the stomach. So there's a layer to protect the stomach called mucus, which protect it from acidic juices. As you can see, the stomach breaks protein and some other solid nutrients into simpler form. So it majorly breaks solid nutrients. The acid kills bacteria present in the food. There are also acids that is produced by liver that kills bacteria present in the food. So let's get to the next slide, guys. So here in this slide we are going to mainly concentrate about the two major glands in a which helps in the digestive system. That is, as you can see, this is the pancreas and this is the liver. The liver. I'm sorry, guys. Here I should have placed a R, but it's liver. I'm sorry, guys. The liver is a gland. It's the largest gland in our body. So here's the fact: it produces bile juices for stomach, which is stored in a liver part called gallbladder. So I've heard many times the name called gallbladder. So it is like a storage for the liver, where the juice produced by the liver is stored. The juices produced by liver mainly acts on fat. So it majorly acts on fat, guys. I hope you understood till here. If you have any doubt, you can just post in the comment. I will surely reply to it. And please share the video with all of your friends. The pancreas is also gland which produces pancreatic juices. As I told in the earlier slide, I will tell you about the pancreatic juices. Here it is, which mainly acts on carbohydrate, fat and protein. So the pancreatic juices, I mean the juices that is produced in pancreas, acts on carbohydrate, fat and protein. the intestinal juices finally convert. The intestinal juices are also some type of, I'm sorry guys, I'm sorry, the intestinal juices are also some juices produced by the small intestine, which is in the end of small intestine, finally converts carbohydrate into glucose. It finally converts. What you see here, pancreas and liver, the juices produced by it also act on it, but finally the intestinal juices convert carbohydrate into glucose, fat into fatty acid or glycerol, protein into amino acids. So I think you have learnt in 6th standard that protein is stored as amino acid in our body. Absorption in small intestine. So now we have got from the stomach to the small intestine. Absorption in small intestine. Absorption is the process from which the digested nutrients are transported to different parts of the body by blood vessels. So this is a new fact I am coming across. I have never come across. Even I am a student of class 7th, guys. Yes, that's true. I am even a student of class 7, guys. I have come across this, that the nutrients are transported through blood vessels. So let's learn about it. Different parts of the body by blood vessels, which is again used to build complex substances needed by our body. So the when the body produces the complex substances, I mean here, that is the process by which the body, when the nutrients are transported from the blood vessels to different parts, the body again builds complex substances, and that process is called assimilation, right? Yes. Wheel is a finger like structure. As you can see in this picture, is a finger like structure in the interior surface of small intestine. So small intestine is like a pipe, and in the interior surface, I hope you understand what is interior surface, because I've heard many people not understanding what is interior surface. So I hope you understand what is interior surface, and if you don't understand, really just comment down. I will think about it and make a video on it, or just comment it below if I find a suitable text from which you can understand it. It increases the surface area for absorption. It increases the surface area for absorption. So when this finger like thing like grow, then it increases surface area. Now let me give you example what surface area here increase exactly means. So if you were to take a straight line like this and take another same length, something like this, which will have a greater area? The one with the finger like thing will have a greater area. Yes, it's true. It increases the surface area for absorption. It has blood vessels close to its surface. So if you see like this, then it has blood vessels just below it. You can say in it, but it is again connected to the body. It absorbs the nutrients and transports it to the blood vessels. So the finger-like structure is grown just like to catch the nutrients that is finally produced by the intestinal juices. Let's get into the next slide, guys. Large intestine and the digestion. So this is the final and the last slide for the digestion in humans, but this is not the end of the chapter. There is much to learn. So here's the large intestine and the interior of the boundary of the large intestine. Here the small intestine is placed. For your information, large intestine is a canal where salt and water is absorbed from the remain of the food. So there are major salts and water that is also needed by our body, which is absorbed by this large intestine. The remaining matter is passed into the rectum. So rectum here acts as a storage for feces, and of course you know what's feces. It's not a thing that can be explained by words, thus that is represented by a picture. But what to tell, guys, just google it, what's feces. phases is a semi-solid phases and remains as semi-solid phases. And now you can guess what exactly is that semi-solid thing. The fecal matter is removed from the rectum time to time by the anus. So what anus you can see acts as a pump, and you can google it what's phases if you're not still understanding. It's not a thing that can be explained, guys. So let's get into the next slide. This is the from here the anus, the fecal matter gets out of the body. I think now you have got to know what exactly is phases. Okay, so let's get to the next slide, guys. Okay, digestion in ruminants. So what are ruminants? Ruminants are animals, we can say grass eating animals, like goat, you can say goat, sheep, cow, bull. These are ruminants, guys. So we're gonna learn how food is digested in these kind of ruminants. So it's very interesting, guys. So the more interesting part is after this slide, because we're gonna learn about the smallest animal in the whole world. So let's begin. Ruminants chew the food partially. So they chew the food partially, and then the partially chewed food is transported from the esophagus to the part of the stomach called rumen. It is also part of stomach, guys. It's a very important thing. It's not separate from the stomach. It's a part of stomach where the food is stored in the form called cud, guys. And you may have seen cows and sheep chewing even when they are not eating. This is because the rumen again transports the food to their mouth time to time in small amounts when the ruminants chew it and again send it back. So I think this is a very large process. I think it has to be chewed a lot. So the ruminants store it so that they can chew whenever they have time, whenever they don't do any work. So the grass, usually usual food for ruminants, contain a type of carbohydrate, so they also need nutrients, guys. So we in the last class, that is sixth class, we had that question by, I think, Paheli, that Baheli, not specifically for NCRT, but I'm just telling you that she had a question: do animals also have nutrient divisions? So this question is solved in today, that is class 7. And if there are other questions also in class 7 chapters, they may will be solved in class 8 or class 9, guys. So that's very thrilling book. It's nice. Type of carbohydrate called cellulose. So the carbohydrate that ruminants need is called cellulose. The bacteria present in rumen helps digest cellulose. In some ruminants, a part called caecum, a sac-like structure between esophagus and small intestine. As you can see here, guys, this is caecum. What you can see, a sac-like thing with a red boundary and a purple thing. It's not exactly like that. It's just a representation, guys. That is the caecum, is where cellulose is digested by a certain bacteria. So the same bacteria, I think, is present in the rumen too, and is also present in the caecum. So let's get into the next slide. We have learned about the nutrition in ruminants, guys. It's very interesting. You can go through the slides and use the slide just as a note, but I think the slides are very long kind of thing. So digestion in amoeba. Yes, amoeba is the smallest organism ever in the world. It is a single-celled organism which is found on surfaces of lakes. It's found on lakes, guys. So we're gonna learn digestion in the smallest animal in the world. I think it's the smallest animal in the world. I mean, organism. You can Google it out, guys. Amoeba is a single-celled microscopic organism. It pushes out finger-like projections. So it doesn't have any mouth. It doesn't have anything. We will learn about pseudopia. What you can see, these pushings, these leg-like structures. Can you see my cursor? I am highlighting my cursor. I cannot highlight my cursor. I'm just highlighting it. I'm just temper highlighting it. As you can see, this is pseudopia, and what you can see here is the food. I think it's pseudopia. The P is silent over here, which surrounds the food, which actually surrounds the food, as you can see here. the food is then digested in a vacuole called food vacuole. So it gets trapped in a vacuole, I think, where there are digestive juices, where it gets digested, and then the vacuole is again from the vacuole the food is again removed. As you can see, in the same manner, it just desurrounds it, the opposite of surrounding it. It just does that, the remaining of the food, and then from that food they get all their nutrients. So in this way, the smallest organism in the world receives it food, so it eats other small organisms, whatever organic matter they find which has the needed nutrients, they eat it. So let's get to the next slide. Okay guys, that's all in today's video guys. If you have learned anything from the video, please share it with all of your friends, and do subscribe guys. Subscribe to my gaming channel too. You can get it from the channel's about section, then you can get it to the link guys, then you can subscribe to that too guys. And then that's all guys. Meet you in next video. In the next video I'm going to make the next chapter, that's fiber to fabric. We're gonna learn a lot in that, the silkworm and many other sheep and many other things we're gonna learn guys. So that's all in today's video. I hope you have learned a lot. Bye guys.